The following prose passage question here is asking for the use of the adjective superb in the context of line 49. Generally, this word means something that's wonderful or amazing. So I'm just going to go ahead and write wonderful here, just to keep in mind what this means in case you haven't heard this word before. But okay, so we're going ahead here with line 49. Nevertheless, after a pause of exhaustion, so this was after all the fluttering that the moth was doing, it got exhausted. The legs fluttered again. Oh, that's right. It was upside down at this point, right? And then it was superb, this last protest, it says, and so frantic that he, the moth, succeeded at last in righting himself, or getting back up on its legs, so it was no longer upside down. Um, so it was wonderful, this last protest, that got the moth to right itself, to stand on its legs again. Okay, so was this most likely for what purpose? To indicate that Wolf found watching, following the moth's movements to be extremely exhausting. Well, it doesn't seem that if you're really exhausted by something, you wouldn't call it superb. You wouldn't say that it's a wonderful thing. So we could get rid of that. Found the moth's display too grand and extravagant. Well, again, if it was too grand and extravagant, it wouldn't be grand and extravagant anymore. It wouldn't be positive. It would be so grand and extravagant that it's now negative. So that, again, wouldn't be wonderful. It wouldn't be superb. So we can get rid of that. So the moth is a remarkable specimen of its kind. So this is positive. But we're not talking about this particular moth being better than other moths necessarily. We're simply saying that this protest of the moth was superb, potentially more superb than other protests. If in order to distinguish itself as a superb protest, it has to be better than other protests somehow. But that doesn't necessarily make the moth more remarkable or more superb than other moths. This again would be an assumption. Maybe all moths can have superb protests. We don't know. So for that reason, this isn't necessarily the best answer. We're just going to leave it like that. Found herself, the author, impressed and changed by the experience of watching the moth. This change by the experience of watching is a bit tough. In the context of the passage, it might be true. We're saying here, we're looking at this moth in a new way. All of a sudden, we're saying, just as life had been so strange a few minutes before, so death was now as strange. And oh yes, death is stronger than I am is something that the author herself could say, and that we're also weak, I guess, before death. We can't really do much against it. So maybe this moth did change a way that she viewed the world, but she was definitely impressed and changed by the experience. Between these two answer choices, this one seems much better. This would be a total assumption, whereas this one could be something that we could infer. Most likely, that's what we're trying to indicate. We don't know, but most likely, that's the case. I hope that helped with this problem, and happy prepping.